Frank Skinner.
Radio.
Hey, welcome to Not the Midweek Podcast. Frank Skinner in association with Absolute Radio. I think that. Is that
yeah, at least.
Yeah.
At least in association.
Yeah. If not actually entwined. I feel entwined. I feel an absolute tendril around my right ankle as we speak.
Yeah, they should do those. Like, can't they bunch up those wires or something? That's out of order.
Well, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
Not according to the building schedule I examined recently at the British Museum. Here we are, anyway, chatting away, and well, I say chatting away. We've only just started, but let's hope it goes that direction.
Sandy Mason's joined us again.
Yeah, Sandy Mason, who was on the show on Saturday, is still lingering like a beautiful smell of a summer rose. And I take her everywhere now. She's a little bit like Sam, Derek Acora's familiar. Sometimes I speak
to the spirit world.
Yeah, well, not so much the spirit world, although goodness knows she gets through enough of that.
There's something of the psychic about her.
Do you think?
She's got that vibe.
Yeah,
I think
yes.
she's got the sight.
I think she could do a tea leaf without a second thought, but I've never asked her to.
Oh, I wouldn't.
And I think do you read the cards, Sandy?
Well, you tell people that I do, but...
Yeah, I read the cards, but only the ones in phone boxes. No, but before we begin, we've begun. It's as simple as that.
True.
I had a request this week from Radio 4.
Oh.
They wanted me to take part in a documentary.
Lovely.
Right. And they said they wanted me to take a part in a documentary about a topic which I must admit I'm no expert on. And their reasons for wanting me to take part are bizarre in the extreme. But the documentary is about A.E. Houseman.
No.
I heard they changed the alarm. And I thought it was Absolute Radio tittle-tattle. But fancy that. But no, they said we're doing a documentary, and we thought your radio show would be an interesting example of how A.E. Houseman has entered into popular culture, which I wouldn't say he's done en masse.
No. I think ours might be the only example of it.
And mention in that Terminator thing that Ross Noble sent us.
Stop name-dropping, Gareth.
Yeah.
Well, the Terminator is a fictional character. I can't mention it.
That's how desperate you are.
Yeah. Don't
He
start
said
with
he'd be back, but I haven't seen him for a week.
those stories how you were out with Jeremy Fisher the other night on a lily pad pond thing. Jeremy Fisher, is he the frog or is he a toad?
He's the frog, all right.
He's not a toad.
In a lovely tuxedo jacket and a sort of pantaloon.
Oh, yeah, and a dainty leg he's got.
A lovely leg.
I imagine him ever dancing, Jeremy Fisher.
Maybe a
never
cigarette
stable.
holder, Frank, as well. It's unusual for a frog.
Did they smoke in Beatrix Potter?
Yeah, they were allowed in those days.
Oh, God, life.
Animals smoked then.
Makes him a bit croaky, but...
Yeah, I know.
Meanwhile, over at Radio 4...
Of course, he was living in Libya for a while, but he left because it was a no-fly zone.
Oh.
He was, he couldn't get any scoff. Anyway, the producer tensed up then, thought that was going to be some big political statement, tended to be a joke about frogs eating flies. She should know me well enough to know that it was going to go down, down, down. Sorry, Gareth.
In a way, it was a political statement.
Was it? Okay. So, yeah, but I'm going to do it. Because I think I like the idea. Yeah, me on an A.
So it's a documentary about how the country's abuzz with A. Houseman, how he's broken into the mainstream.
Well, not so much a buzz as a... Now, whether they'll want me to do the original alarm, I don't know.
Oh, they might. You'll have to have that with you.
Well, I'll have to ask the absolute engineers. I don't know if you've seen them, those strange characters in blue overalls that one sometimes stumbles across in a studio.
Yeah.
I've seen them taking dog hair off the wall in Studio 4.
Yeah, that's because...
That's from Peter the Wild.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of
I
the
heard he'd got his
crew
own.
now. Yeah.
He's sitting in, I think, for Ronnie Wood at the moment.
No, it's Ben Jones's pet. It's his. Ben Jones has Peter the Wild.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know. And does he use didn't they use a leather strap? Which, in case you didn't listen to Saturday's show, Peter the Wild was how was he described?
A child savage.
A child savage. Who was kept by George I
Yeah,
on a
child
leash.
savage pet.
Yeah, I mean, it's
it's
cruel.
cruel.
Again, it's wrong. But they used to eat him with a leather strap to keep him in awe, is what they said.
I wondered where you'd got that idea.
Yeah. Well, it's very hard to keep people in awe when you've been in the business as long as I have, can I tell you? And it's funny, actually. It's funny, I should mention that. And by God, I say funny, but obviously it's inverted commas, in case anyone's going to query it. I don't know if you're aware of it, but at the moment, my girlfriend's sister is living
Oh, yeah.
And we were watching, the three of us were watching...
The triumvirate, that's what you need to call it. I told
okay,
you.
yeah. We were watching the Louis Spence's Show Business. Have you seen that?
Oh, no. I used to watch his work on Pineapple Dance Studios.
Well, I loved that. I thought that was excellent. And we were all very excited that a series was coming back, even though it had a different title. Anyway, we were watching it, and...
I think Louis Spence sort of fills the role that Peter the Wild would have filled in their culture. Do you know what I mean? For the present day, I think.
Yeah, I bet he'd be all right on a leash, because he does that, you know, one of his only dances is that thing he used to do in Cats when he gets on all fours and sort of wiggles the behind. Yeah. He would have met a very good contemporary Peter the Wild, and not a bad piano stool at Clarence House.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we watched it. I'd say that in the past we've all been fans of Louis Spence, and it was odd. We suddenly said, the three of us, I think Rachel, my girlfriend's sister, said first of all, I don't think I ever want to watch that again.
Really?
And I'd been thinking that, but, I was...
afraid to say it.
Peer pressure. And I said, and before I could say it, Kat said, I agree. I never, ever... The terrible thing is it was wrong. We sat sort of watching it, and we didn't really say this until it was ending.
Yeah.
So we were giving it the best chance we could. And the terrible thing was it ends with Ethel Merman singing There's No Business Like Show Business.
One of my favourite songs.
Yeah, so... It was the perfect... It summed up what show business was all about, because we're saying, well, he used to be good, but I despise him now. There's no business. I've heard he's vile as well in person. There's no people like show... I mean, they didn't have enough material for a first series. Everything about it is appealing. And that's it. Yeah. We even... And this was a moment...
Yeah.
I even went to Sky Plus, where we had another couple of episodes stored...
Oh, you
and
didn't
deleted.
delete. Wow. You didn't press delete.
I don't know about you, but when I delete from Sky Plus, something dies in me.
Oh,
no matter what the programme is, I always think, once I've clicked, I always think, I bet maybe I would have wanted that. I had a last surge of Louis Spence as it went, but now it's gone.
Oh, Frank, that's quite disappointing when that happens, though, isn't it?
It was strange. I thought he was great, and now I despise him.
You see, I think what's happened with him, I think you go off someone when they become too aware of how funny they're being. It's a bit like Charlie Sheen, you see. That's what I went off him.
Yeah,
I've gone off Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, I mean, once he's got a bottle with tiger blood on it and a T-shirt with winning, he's a parody of him.
I don't want him to profit from his mental unwellness.
Vanessa parody.
I want him to be mentally unwell. I don't want him to profit from it.
Don't be in on the joke.
No, definitely. This is the problem. But I don't like it when you go off things. It just kind of feels a bit depressing.
That really big woman on Coronation Street, is she a Vanessa parody? I'm just thinking about it. There was a time not much chance of her ever getting off with Johnny Depp. Sorry?
I was going to say there was a very awkward moment in the court when Peter the Wild got in on the joke and started playing up to it.
Yeah,
started
exactly.
wearing the Peter the Wild T-shirt.
Yeah, and he actually bought 4 pairs of werewolf gloves from a joke shop. Yeah. Who wants that? Yeah. And that bone. Oh, he's got a bone in his mouth. Ha, 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 Peter. Just get out. Yeah. Yeah, that was... Well, that's what happened. Whether they deleted him from the Georgian equivalent of Sky Plus, who can say? I like the Peter. I think Peter the Wild has replaced long-term prisoner Charles Bronson on this show.
He's
Friend of the show.
Friend of the... How marvellous. I'm going to do it. Peter the Wild, friend of the show. We've given him a whole new lease of life. Whole new leash. You'll be delighted.
A leash for life.
What I found with him, the minute you picked up the leash, he was at the door. He was ready, Peter the Wild.
But Frank, some said the leash was gold, some said leather.
Oh.
Some said leather, some said gold.
Gold? How can you have a gold leash? Is it like that
was the
John
court of-
Donne poem when it was gold to airy thinness beat?
Well, it was the court of George I. He could have what he wanted.
I suppose so. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough about him. So yeah, it's odd when you really like someone and go off it suddenly. It happened to me with Leodama Light Life as well.
What?
Do you know that sliced cheese you can get?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love the Leodama. I mean,
Yeah.
I went for the Light Life. That's the lower calorie one.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to the point where I had it virtually every meal. If I had a sandwich of something else,
Yeah.
I'd chuck a Leodama rectangle on there. I used it as package and padding, whatever they called it. I remember once I had a ham and tomato sandwich, and the tomato was soaking into the bread, so I lagged it with a slice of Leodama Light Life. Yeah.
Load-bearing Leodama. Can't say it.
No, come on, have another go.
Load-bearing Leodama.
Yeah, there you go. See, it's all with that Robert.
So
the
you
Bruce
went and
moment.
you just went off it.
I went off it, but I went off it in... I didn't even get through the pack that was in the fridge. There was only like 2 slices left. And one day I opened the door and it was a Louis Spence moment. There was no Ethel Merman.
No.
But I just thought, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, and I left it there for a couple of days in the fridge. It was. I mean, the top was... it was opened, just 2 slices at the bottom. And I thought, shall I? And I could not. And in the end, they went in the bin, just like deleting that...
You gorged...
Although I would eat out the bin.
You
if push
gorged
came to
yourself. You see,
I
that's
don't
the thing.
know. I suppose we're all familiar. It can happen in relationships. That moment when you just think, "I love you." Oh no, I hate you.
Dancing
But,
around the bandstand.
Yeah, exactly. Dancing, but when it happens with Leodama Light
No,
Life,
you can't. I don't like
takes
it.
the wind out your sails.
Sometimes, Frank, when I'm reading a book, I'll go off it. Like in the middle of the book.
yeah, but sometimes
Do you
a
do
book
that?
that you're massively enthusiastic about for
Yes.
about 10 chapters. Yeah.
And then I'll think, oh, I've really gone off you. I might throw it across the room. That's it, it's over.
I think we're back to George and Peter. Yeah. I imagine George I getting him swinging on the leash like an Olympic hammer thrower, and the servants racing across to open a sash window. Sometimes he got Peter straight out, sometimes he just smashed into the frame. Oh, God. Is it too late to get one? I don't think it would be morally acceptable now. I'm not scouring the forests.
What, to get a PTW?
Although, apparently, Ireland are going to give William and Kate Jedward
Is
as
that
a
right?
present, and they're going to fulfil a very similar role.
Oh, two-hander. You could get a double leash.
Yeah,
I should think that would be
or
all
one
right.
each.
Yeah, you could, but it would be unsavoury. So,
I had that. I went off the film. I mean, I watched it, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
I've never
I
seen
loved that film. Watched it over and over again. I
Life
thought I could watch
Aquatic.
this
I'm
film.
not familiar. What's it about?
It's a Wes Anderson film. It's got Bill Murray in, and he's like a marine documentary maker.
That put me
Okay.
off.
Yeah, and I watched it lots of times, and I thought I'm going to be able to watch this film forever. And now
Really?
the thought of it makes me physically sick.
Physically
Watch
sick?
it
Yeah.
again. I couldn't.
That's the bends you've
Don't
got.
want to.
Yeah.
Why did you go off it?
I watched it too many times.
Oh, that'll be
That was
it.
Again, the
It's the
gorging.
it's the overdoing.
The gorging.
Gorging.
Yeah, I overgorged on Louis Spence. I can see now, whenever I see that
first time that's happened.
that pelvic swivel of the cat impression, it makes me, oh, God, he needs to be spayed.
Released back into the wild.
Yeah, I'd like to see Louis gone feral. I think we're moving back to Peter.
It's a new documentary.
Yeah. Louis Gone Feral. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded that. Louis Gone Feral, didn't he do Don't Worry, Be Happy? Did you see that thing about who pays for a meal?
I think I might have, yes.
What do you, as a lady... Do you look like a lady?
How dare you?
What, sorry?
You just sung "Dude Looks Like a Lady" in
No,
reference to me.
You don't. You're a lady who looks like a lady. But
Thank you.
When you...
What a wonderful compliment.
The nicest thing you've ever said to me.
What a wonderful compliment. I said.
What?
That she's a lady who looks like a lady.
Yeah, exactly. We're not all. Mrs. Brown's Boys, that's a good show.
Frank, I don't look like Mrs. Brown's Boys.
No.
And FYI, that's not a good show.
I like it.
I know you do.
I'll have to give it a look.
It's been recommissioned.
Is it?
I'm championing it on this show.
No, I know you are.
Yeah.
It's a shame. So, sorry, what were you saying?
Well, if you went out for a meal with a gentleman, when the bill came, what would normally be the procedure?
I always pay. No, I go halves. What I do is I get out my wallet and...
Wave it around.
Hold on, you have a wallet?
Yeah, I have a wallet.
As opposed to a purse?
Well, it's a housekeeping purse, but it's like a wallet.
A housekeeping
Yeah,
purse?
that's what
is
it's
that like
called.
a house coat? Is it
No,
like...
it's very Downton Abbey. It's very chic.
Is it quilted nylon?
It's for a housekeeper. It's from my favourite. You know the place I always go to, the posh stationery place where the cards are £50 for
Ryman's.
Christmas. Yeah.
Oh, is it that the place that's something to do with David Cameron's wife?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I get out my wallet / purse
Yeah.
and I do the charade. I go, oh, no, let's go halves.
Yeah. And do you mean it?
I sort of mean it because the slight feminist in me thinks, well, actually, I don't want their expectations rising.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't want them thinking, well, I've bought her a meal now. So...
And
so
tit
normal...
for tat,
Well,
as it were.
exactly.
Yeah. Tit for taters.
No, I don't want any tat.
Okay.
So, normally... Carry on. What happens is, I'll make the offer. I don't really mean it.
Wouldn't Tits for Taters be some fabulous sort of charity campaign? Anyway, sorry, carry on. I'll phone Comic Relief. We'll see if we can knock something together.
I'll make the offer.
Yeah.
And worryingly, often they will say yes. They'll say, yes, fine.
Well...
What are they supposed to do at that point?
They're supposed to say, no.
Never.
You're the lady.
No. I'll get this. What about, I see, what they were talking about in this article in particular, I think, was a first date.
So what they were saying, we should just say, they were suggesting that attractive women expect their date to pay for dinner. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh.
And Plain Janes, as they're well known. This is one of the problems. There is no Christian name that rhymes with attractive. I might call, if I ever have a daughter, I might call her Matt Pactive.
Matt Pactive.
Matt Pactive Skinner. And they'll say, and then people will say, if you go out with an attractive Matt Pactive or a Plain Jane, and suddenly I've made her an iconic name.
Matt Pactive Skinner, horrible child.
A lot of pressure on her to be attractive.
Matt Pactive sounds like a sort of Transformer toy, doesn't it? So, yes, that was the theory. That a pretty girl, but don't attractive people just expect life to be a series of open doors and handouts?
How would I know? I don't know.
Oh, come on, ask your brother.
Yeah.
Well, you must have some insight into this,
he never
Gareth, with your
pays for
brother. Has he
anything.
ever put his hand in his pocket?
No,
Never.
Have you ever put your hand in his pocket? That's
What
how
are you
attractive he is.
suggesting?
No, but I hope to. What? So does he never pay for anything?
No.
Oh, how lovely. He doesn't have to.
I
Her
find
birthday, she says, I was going to get you a present, but I
I'm so good looking, I don't have to.
I find on a first date,
Yeah.
often women I've been out with in the past will say, "Oh no, let's go halves," and I'll say, "No, let's go halves,"
Yeah.
and they never do that again.
No.
It's just that first date. It's to drag. It's a lost leader, as they say in the retail world. It's
Yeah.
just to get you in, because always at the back of your mind there's a sense of, oh well, probably the next meal she'll offer to go.
But can I ask you, Frank, so what's your view of the woman if she offers to go halves? Do you like it? Do you think it's good?
I do like it. I'll be absolutely honest with you, and this makes me sound like some sort of skinflint.
Oh, excellent. Bring it on.
But often, if a woman is very insistent with me, not always, whoever I'm dining with, if they're very insistent on going 50-50, and we do go 50-50, I'm mentally spending the money I've saved before we're out to the restaurant. Say if it's like 60 quid and I'm all set to pay 60 and they're going to know, I think that's 30 quid I got. I'll go to Forbidden Planet and splash out.
Or get another hoodie.
It's like a gift, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I can only get two.
Need an extra 19 for that.
Yeah, that's the 45.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I do like it, and I but if I was a woman, because there is a long tradition,
Yeah.
I know it would be in the back of my mind. I'm in with a chance of getting it for free, and I don't
Getting
know
what for free?
getting the meal for free.
Oh, sorry.
And I don't know if I'd be able to resist just at least testing the water. Do you know what I'm saying?
But do you think it makes the woman look less attractive? And I am asking because I would like some advice.
If she pays
you pay,
50-50.
do you think I should just stop paying? And then if I behave like one of these beautiful women, they'll think I am.
No, but A, you are a beautiful woman.
Oh, thank
and
God
B,
that came. I thought it would never come. It felt like an hour.
Yeah, well, I was fighting it, but I thought, oh, come on, we just can't move on until I've said it.
The wait was interminable.
I actually,
Sweating all over.
to me, I like it. I like the sense that this person, first of all, is making a point that she believes in equality, she believes in sharing, that she doesn't assume because I'm some big name star. I'm speaking.
God.
I'm speaking retrospectively now. I'm on about when I went out for dinner, maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That I'm going to shell out.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it.
Oh.
What do you think, Gareth?
Yes. It's a while since I dated, but sometimes I pay. Well, the thing is, Laura makes so much more money than me. It's her money anyway.
Oh.
What's the point in me paying?
What do you mean it's her money anyway?
She
you want
makes
pocket
most
money?
of the money, basically.
You're on an allowance?
Well, we have a joint account, and
You take out, she puts in.
Yeah. I mean, I make some money,
Yeah,
but we don't keep it separate.
No.
I get stressed.
She may as well have ended up with a good-looking brother.
Yeah. Well,
I feel we've scratched not just into the surface, but into the dark, throbbing core of your relationship. Maybe we should move on at this point. But yeah.
Laura, don't take that advice.
If you fled the relationship to say if you decided to flee,
If I decided to be a homeless person,
would you empty the account before going?
Gareth the Wild,
that's a
he'd
dreadful
become.
thing.
Well, thought must have crossed your mind.
No, there's not much in the account.
Oh, you've checked.
Quite recently. Sandy Mason's moved position. It's like Help when they keep popping up everywhere unexpectedly.
It's a filmic effect. It really move. It's the Jedi look that she goes for. She's able to materialise. What's the word? Jaunting, is that what they call it?
Jaunting?
Is it jaunting when you can... What used to be on the Tomorrow People?
You looked at Gareth because he looked a bit geeky and he might know.
I'm looking for him as my sci-fi source. Or a bit of sci-fi sauce.
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh.
Jaunting.
I might have got it wrong. God knows I've been wrong before.
There was a story about how there was a survey saying that parents no longer tell their children classic fairy tales because they think they're too scary. So things like Rapunzel is too scary, and Hansel and Gretel.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, it's a horrible story.
And a lot of all the ones with lots.
What about Straw Pater?
I don't know.
Straw Pater. He used to bite. Does he bite his fingernails? Is that what he does? He used to bite his fingernails, and so in the end they cut his fingers off with scissors.
He had sort of Tina Turner hair, didn't he?
Yeah.
It really scared me, that.
Of course, nowadays you can get away with that.
What, cutting?
Political correctness, yeah, no.
Oh, no, political correctness has gone mad. God, Peter the Wild. The bottom's fallen out the market.
No, you couldn't take it. You couldn't take Peter the Wild out of the wild now.
No, you
with
couldn't.
conservation, they'd have to say keep him there.
Exactly.
Got to stay in the wild.
He'd be
Don't want to
preserved.
disturb the rainforest.
He'd be on a reserve.
Yeah.
That's what it'd be. I've got him on a reserve. I've put 200 quid down.
Yeah, but this article said that those stories are very important in shaping your morality. Right and wrong. You need the extremes to learn about good and bad. And
Can I just
stuff like
ask,
that.
if Peter the Wild went on, if he escaped and went on the run, do you think a police officer would have turned up at George I's palace and say, nothing so far, but we have found a couple of leads? So what about, well, you're a father.
Yes.
Do you read Ethan stories?
Yeah, we do. There's not classic ones. He likes Charlie and Lola. It's very good.
Charlie and Lola?
Yeah.
What?
It's a big brother Charlie and a little sister Lola, and they get into all sorts of scrapes. Ethan.
Oh, that's like-
scrapes.
That's
these
like the
people.
modern day Topsy and Tim. That's what I had in
Yeah.
my day, you see.
Oh.
Yeah, Ethan really likes scary stuff. We had a story called The Big Scary Monster.
Well, you must admit, you can't have been totally surprised when that turned out to be.
No, that there was and he loves Big Scary Monster. That's what he says.
Huh?
He's a big fan of that. A story that I was thinking about, the stories that affected me as growing up, and a story people used to tell in assembly just all the time.
The little boy with a good-looking brother? That affected you.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It turns out, I don't know what it was called, but I've done research, and it's called The Gift of the Magi. Do you know this story?
Yes, I think I do remember that, actually. Yeah.
So
Is it about gold, frankincense, or myrrh?
No, it's got nothing. Well, it is to do with that, but sort of at the end, and I don't understand how. It's about a young married couple, Della and Jim,
Right.
and they've got no money to buy, or they've got very little money to buy Christmas presents. Della's greatest asset is she's got lovely long hair.
Oh, thank God for that.
We're all on the edge of our seats. Yeah.
It says it goes right down to her knees, which Laura says she doesn't like it if the hair's that long. 'cause
Well, it
you
depends
think
where it starts.
Can go, but Peter the Wild.
Peter. Oh, Peter the Wild. Friend of the show. What do you think he spoke like? I've imagined, Your Majesty, why don't you stop it to me with that? I don't like it. That's what I'm guessing it was like. What do you think?
He could only say Peter and King George.
Oh, Peter. King George.
It said he said it in a strangled
King
way.
George. He's out, Peter. He's hunting. King George. You can't, he's out. King George. Yeah. Peter, he's harping on a theme. Sorry, Gareth.
So Della had lovely long hair, and Jim had a gold watch that he was very, very proud of. And so,
What kind of equation is that? Gold watch versus very long.
so for Christmas, she was very stressed that she didn't have a lovely money to buy him a present.
Didn't have a lovely money. Joe Dolce again.
Yeah, just a minute. Should we be sitting cross-legged for this section? I didn't think you were going to tell us.
I'm going to tell you the story because it's got.
well, let's-
so I
Okay,
can comment on
let's start it. So she didn't
Yeah.
have a lovely money to buy him a present with.
A lovely money.
Yeah.
No. I don't know why she didn't move to a Cardiff. Yeah, okay.
it. She had long hair. Jim had a watch.
Yes.
Yes, we know that.
I know, we're not chilled. You don't have to tell us everything 20 times.
So what Della did to buy Jim a present is she went and she sold her hair.
She sold her
She
hair.
sold her hair
That's a nice present.
to a hair shop. I don't know where she sold it, and she
Hair
bought
shop.
You know a
Jim.
hair shop.
I don't know. Where would you sell your hair, Emily? I don't know. It was the
Yeah,
olden days.
you wouldn't.
It was the olden days.
People do sell their
Yeah,
hair
you
now.
sell it to Bedlam.
Bedlam.
Yes, that's what they
that a
called
place?
it in the olden
Oh.
days.
No, but people sell them to wig makers now.
Oh, wig makers,
It must
yeah.
be because you get real hair.
I know, I got that the wrong way round.
What are they taken from
They
corpses?
take it from Bedlam to people.
Right.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
And she bought Jim a platinum watch strap, a watch
We're still
chain.
on the watch. We've just...
No, I'm telling you, this is why she
Okay,
sold the hair, to
okay.
buy a
Okay.
watch
Okay,
chain,
okay.
a platinum watch chain.
And Jim, I'm
And
guessing
then-
he sold the gold watch to buy her. hair net,
Oh,
am
he's
I right?
angry. He's furious because you've ruined
You've
it.
given away the whole end of the... Yeah, that's what happens, basically. So Jim buys her some lovely tortoiseshell combs to
actually...
For the hair.
Is that the colour, or are they made
They're
from...
made from tortoise
From a
shells. This is the olden
carapace.
days. This is the olden days.
They've taken a carapace and fashioned it into some sort of
That's what they did.
comb.
That's why it's called tortoise shell.
Okay.
And then, so Jim comes home and Della's got, she looks like Sigourney Weaver in Alien.
Yeah.
And
I love that look.
he looks really worried, and she says, and there's the big reveal. You've given away what happens at the end. You've given away the end of the story.
Have I?
You've ruined
Yeah.
it for everyone.
When did I do
Well,
that?
because Jim had got her hair combs, and Jim sold his watch to buy hair combs.
Yeah, and that's
And,
the end of the
and
story.
it's supposed to be a lovely, happy ending of the story, because and really weren't they the best gifts of all? No, that is a terrible Christmas.
But where does the Magi come in?
Well,
Who
because
rattled their
they
cage?
kind of said that it's a bit like the gifts of the Magi. I don't know why it's like the gifts of the
They
Magi.
get to be in the title, and they're no more than a simile.
Yeah, it's just at the end. He just says,
I'm waiting for the clip clop of a broaching camels
Exactly.
at the
there's
end.
no
And there's
Magi
not much
in it.
myrrh featuring in that tale.
More myrrh.
Yeah.
Or mirth, for that matter. Well, that is a strange...
That
what
story
do you
really
know?
got me down as a kid.
Yeah.
Just
See, we didn't
rubbish
get-
Christmas.
I never got those kind of fictional stories from my parents. I just got Dad's tales from his life, many of which were quite harrowing. The time his uncle Tom Shanks carried a horse across the market square in Gateshead. He said he put it round his neck like a stole. He used to say, put it round his neck like a stole, like a mink stole, and carried it across. Tom Shanks. I mean,
What was the moral of that story?
the moral of the story is it's not nice to have horse genitals against your neck.
Right.
That's what it ought to have been. He never made
felt-
it so clear.
So didn't
we had to deduce.
Didn't, our Keith must have read you some stories?
No, our Keith
Bloodwing
didn't have-
Pig annuals, maybe?
I don't know if they ever had an annual.
Oh, okay.
I think they had little more than a brochure. My dad did tell me a story I always liked about when he went scrumping. And they went scrumping with a kid called Arthur.
What's scrumping?
You know scrumping when you go and steal apples and fruit?
No, I don't. I grew up in an affluent suburb of North London.
Okay.
No.
But you must have heard... no?
No.
Anyway, if there's an apple tree, you go in and you nick apples.
Okay.
That's scrumping, basically.
Do you know that?
Yes.
How do you know that?
I have heard tales.
You're saying it quite murderously. Okay, sorry, Frank, as you were.
So they went. There was a little kid called Arthur. He was the youngest, and he was only about 4 or something. And they were caught by the bloke who owned the orchard, and he lined them up. And he went up to my dad and said, "What's your name?" And he said, "John." And he said, "Right." He said, "I know your father." It says John Collins, because my original name.
Yeah.
He said, "John Collins." He said, "I know your father." He said, "Then what's your name?" And then he went to this kid, Arthur, and he said, "What's your name?" He said, "Arthur." And he said, "What's your surname?" And he said, "Sir Arthur." And my dad must have told me that story 50 times. And I knew what was coming, but I was delighted.
love
by
that.
it. Then there was the one when his dad hung a man in a pub.
He didn't.
Actually hanged, a bit of grammatical term. He
I
did.
don't care about the grammar.
He didn't hang him to the death. I think
Oh, that was nice of him.
he got him. You know that point just before they go?
He was a
when-
real softie.
You know when their head looks like an aubergine?
Frank.
And then other people got him down, apparently. So those were the stories we had. So there was no... I would have killed for a straw, Peter, just as a bit of light relief. Rather than my granddad hanging people in a pub in Newcastle. I say people, it's only one bloke, I don't exaggerate. What did you...
Well, I had the Osborne
I
Book of Ghosts.
imagine you had Modesty Blaze.
No, we had our parents' friends. Well, they were all acting in Doctor Who around that time, so they would we'd have seen them on telly being aliens.
Yeah.
And then it would all be spoilt, because then you'd come down and go, "Well, I said, darling, I'm not doing that for minimum wage." Oh, I thought you were an alien.
I love the idea of a Cyberman saying that.
But we had the Osborne Book of Ghosts, me and my best friend Jane. Oh, we loved that. Absolutely loved that.
I've never heard that.
Well, it was sightings, so it had those pictures. You know, there's always photographs.
Oh, so it's true stories. Well,
yeah,
say true.
well, you say true.
Purported.
Yeah, and it was things like black and white photos, a cab driver, and it said this an old lady was in the back of my cab, Then it turned out she died back in 1885. And they always have like a shawl
Been in that
and
cab a long time.
yeah.
Clear it out.
And there was how to trap a ghost, and you needed some string across the door and some talc, which I did once. Didn't work. But I'll tell you what else I used to scare me. My sister and I, when we briefly lived in Australia, we moved over there when I was young. And
Australians.
no. When we lived in Australia, we did get a bit terrified by sharks. So we had a National Geographic book of sharks, and we used to keep it under the bed to scare ourselves. She'd get it out and go, "Do you want to see the hammerheads?" And we did. It was
They
really
are the scariest,
They're
aren't they?
really
funny
terrifying.
They look like they've swallowed a
Yeah.
you know those what are those
Hammer?
things?
They look like...
No, you know those sandwich boxes,
Yes.
the hermetically sealed sandwich boxes.
Yes, that's exactly what they look like.
What
yeah.
are they called? What are they called?
They're
those?
called sandwich boxes.
No, but what's the name of the actual product?
It's like Perspex. No, I'm not... I can't think what it's called.
Tupperware?
Tupperware.
They
Yeah,
look like they've
Tupperware.
swallowed the
They
Tupperware
do.
sandwich box. That's
They're
what they look
really
like.
scary. But why did we scare ourselves? We enjoyed scaring ourselves.
People do like. I know. I haven't told you my dad's story about. My mum's story actually about Warty.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Warty was a man who lived by them, whose entire face was a wart. Told us about him.
Wow.
Just two eyes looking out of
I
her
saw
wart.
him on a train yesterday.
Did you? Oh, he must be dead by now, Warty. I hope they didn't. I hope part of him was kept for posterity. I think sort of thing. If you kept him face up on the desk, you could put pens in him.
Wow.
If any of Warty's relatives are listening, our thoughts with his family.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.